One more topic I wanted to bring up was about how in, I think, 2022 or 3, there was a revival show that is currently has 2 seasons out, and I think it's still going. The story there is that his son moves in with him, right? So where Frasier season 1 started off with Martin moving in with him, now his son, who is kind of in his early 30s, is moving in with him. And the thing with Freddie, and we meet Freddie throughout a bunch of spots throughout the series, and he kind of goes through puberty and kind of challenges Frasier as a dad and that sort of thing. But Freddie kind of, we learn, dropped out of university and became a firefighter, and now has to move in with Frasier at the start of the first season of the revival. That kind of sets the tone, right? Where it's kind of taking kind of the formula from the original, but it kind of turns it on its head, because now Frasier is 30 years older, and now his son is moving in with him as opposed to his father is moving in with him. And it kind of leads to similar situations where it again goes to a lot of the same wells that we've been talking about class and about ego and status and all of that, except Frasier is now older and more mellow, but everybody else kind of has not caught up with him, so there's a lot of that going on. But then it kind of manages to kind of preserve kind of the idea of the farce, right? Like, it's one of the few shows at the moment actually doing real farce. A lot of the structure I've just talked about, they managed to carry over into the new show. And so in my opinion, it's probably the only, or at least one of the few legacy sequels or revivals that actually work. And the reason it works is because it's different from the original. They're not making the same show they made in 2004, but they remembered what worked about it, and they carried as much of that over as possible and made changes when necessary. And for that reason, if you like the first 11 seasons, this is not as good as Frasier at its peak, but it is more Frasier. And it's kind of true to what was good about Frasier. Not quite to the same extent, but you get a similar kind of thing from it, which I think is notable, because I can't name another legacy sequel that pulled that off.
The only one I would kind of give it to was Dexter Resurrection, which again it's kind of like similar, but where it's like it's not Dexter at its peak, but it gave enough flavors of Dexter and what it was, tried to like make it a little bit new and interesting, and overall kind of actually delivered a very solid season of TV. Not the best thing in the world that you're ever going to watch, but more Dexter and sort of kind of more of what you liked, and again the callbacks and drawbacks from what worked in its heyday.
For each of those, you can name like 5 where that didn't work, right? Where they just didn't know what worked about the original, or they were not able to capture, the essence of that. And Frasier just manages it. They need a few episodes to really get going, but they managed to kind of bring that back for most episodes.